Conversations, and today we are talking about confidence. Confidence.
Yeah, working in confidence. It's every man's desire, to win in everything that he does.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are born dependent. Dependent on our parents and the people that get to take care of us. But as a man, as you're adulting, as you're growing up, you realize that depending on the environment, first of all, that you're growing and the desires that you get as a person, I believe each one of us is born with a certain gift or a certain liking to something, your own space or domain, you see. And therefore, when you realize, first of all, that God has called you to do something, it's important that you have the confidence to walk and actually
go for it.
Yeah, and go for it.
All right.
Yeah, and I think first of all, it's not easy. Well, for some people it might come naturally, and we can say confidence has many faces. You can see there's a face, self-esteem. There's confidence in the conversations that you have. Can you converse with someone?
Articulating yourself.
Articulation of speech. Confidence in terms of doing business. What can you do in business?
And there's something you've mentioned about someone realizing something that God might have called them to do, or more like them coming to the self-discovery of a mission or a vision they need to fulfill on the earth.
Yes.
And then there is who they are. Yeah. But again, there's a connection between them actualizing that thing and where they are. And actually confidence bridges that gap.
Exactly.
But there's something you once mentioned in one of our many conversations that I've found really quite profound, which are really, they're more like very practical steps that even you as a person, I believe you've taken them towards actualizing those things, which have really caused tremendous change in your own personal life.
Yes. Okay, I can speak for myself.
Absolutely.
Personally, I've had a lot of growth. I wouldn't say, I don't like titles, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself an extrovert. First of all, I'm naturally an introvert.
Right.
You realize, first of all, as a man, as you're growing, there are certain things you have to do, like they're important. One of them,
you have to readjust yourself.
Yeah, you have to readjust yourself. One might be where you are in life.
At the moment.
Maybe you're in a certain stage where you're done with school. You need to do now business. You need to work with people. You see, and those environments force you to interact with people. You see, certain environments force you to change what you've believed before, and it calls it actually forces you to grow, to move to the next.
So what I'm getting you trying to say is, like, first, for starters, a very practical step is you being self-aware about your current environment.
Exactly.
First, even as you're going towards actualizing your dream or your goal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, you see, there's what do we call it? They call it the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that at the top you have self-actualization. Self-aware.
Yeah.
When you as a man, you are self-aware, you know who you are. You've come to peace with things that you can't control, and you know what you can do, and for lack of better words, you know what you can't do. Another phase, you know, as me as Brinjo, this is what I can do best, and this is how far I can go up to this.
So reconciling
with what you can do, and now focusing your energy first of all into the things that you want, and you can do best. Coming to that self-actualization and self-awareness, that this is who I am. This is what makes me angry. This is what makes me happy. This is how I want things done in this way, in business, in relationships.
So the next so like, if I summarize, I've gotten you well, like the next point is trying to say, you come to the point of, like, you're self-aware.
Exactly.
About, other than you being aware about your environment, you become now, you introspect into Like, this is the extent, this is what I've come to realize, this is what I can do. And then now from there, you now move on now towards the next thing.
Exactly. And also to compound on that, there is something I like to tell myself, like, what's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely.
You know, what's the worst that can happen? Speaking of, 2020 has been quite an interesting year for all of us.
I'd love to hear it.
You know, and I was done with school last year, campus.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Degree. But you see, I've had to like grow in terms of my self-awareness, the things that I believe about myself. I've had to really change that, to switch my mind to the environment that I'm in, so that I adapt well, you know. And one of the slogans I used, my personal philosophy is that what's the worst that can happen? You see, one of the few things that I can mention, one, it's in business, you know. Yeah, it's in the businesses that you do. You see, what risks can you take as a man, and as I'm growing? I'm a graphic designer, you see. That's the domain or the work I do, you see. And there are certain risks I need to do even in my growth in business. When I want to start something, do I want to start it? What's the worst that can happen? Another thing that I believe as a man you can do, a practical thing, is to surround yourself with the atmosphere that you want, be it people, be it the books. Like, what are the next simple steps you can actually do? What's the next simple things you can do right now?
The next most simplest and practical element to it,
to change something about your life, that you don't like, or rather affect your self-esteem or your confidence. You know, through the Bible we see it's a love story, and the very first thing, the very first context we see, even as God is creating man, he gives him the power. You see, he calls him to dominate, you know. So naturally, as a man, you're born to dominate,
to rule.
All right. You see? And I believe we can find ourselves as men in those positions that we are not, one, afraid of the unknown. We're not afraid to risk anything, you know. Again, with God's and the Holy Spirit's guidance, that we're not afraid of risking anything, whether it's with our lives, whether it's in relationships. At certain points as a man, you need to, you know,
absolutely,
ask for someone on a coffee date or something, you know. In business,
shoot your shot,
exactly. In business, in friendship, in all those things.
Absolutely, everything. And I think God, first of all, took a risk. I think in the most subtle and most simplest of ways, even him sending Jesus, it was a risk. Yes. And what you've mentioned, like everything you've said, being compiled, like it's really practical. And I am happy for the growth that even for you, your own personal life you've had, and the tidbits you've shared with us. And I think in wrapping it up, at the end of the day, really, if you're not confident, you won't really get to where you need to be. Like you won't get from point A to point B. And like we've mentioned in this conversation, is there are certain things called call to action. Call to action is the next simplest thing you need to do to move from point A to point B. If you want to move from here to outside, you have to take few steps out. And as simple as we have tried to summarize it, that's all we have for today's conversations. And be sure to tune in with us in our all social media handles and even our website at authenticman101.com. Thank you so much.
Check us out.